Hello everyone, this is Dan Gramza and welcome to dangramza.com Market Studies for Monday, June 23rd. Well, we had some fundamentals out there that created some volatility in the market. Main focus though is the Middle East, and what you're seeing here in front of you is a daily chart in a candle format. If you haven't looked at these before, the concept is a swing trade. Trying to capture a little bit of movement. These are not buy and sell recommendations, just ideas that I'd like to share with you. These represent trades or the trading environments that we've seen over the past week. So earlier, what we have seen, well, the solid green line is buy, the solid red line is sell. If it's a dash line, it means it's something that happened earlier in the week. Now, with that background, the difference between the buy and sell level here in the S&P was $900 a contract. The difference between that sell and buy level here was $500 a contract. And this is a neutral environment as we're waiting for more information on the Middle East. It does have a bullish bias. When we look at what's happening in the NASDAQ market, very similar to what we just saw in the S&P, this buy level down here to that sell level is $4,060 a contract, and the difference between the sell level down to that buy level is $2,460 a contract, and it also implies a neutral stance as we go into the weekend. When we see the Dow in the same boat, we're looking at a neutral environment in that market. A dollar differences here are $800 a contract and $230 a contract. And the final one here between this buy and sell level there is $300 a contract. But it also has bullish bias, neutral setting. The Russell's in the same boat, very neutral on the close. Dollar difference buy to sell level in that market, $900 a contract, and the sell to buy level here, $500 a contract. Now, I want to point out something to you, and that is if you were a seller when it went below that red line, that market did move in the direction of the sell. However, it didn't finish there. It finished underwater. That trade would have been losing money if nothing was done after that entry. Now let's talk about what's happening in the currencies. The euro firming up as the US dollar gets weaker. And in that market, what are we looking for? We're looking for some follow through to the upside. Be careful about the US dollar. Right now it looks weaker in some of these currencies, as you'll see in just a minute. The euro is firming up. Dollar difference here, buy to sell level, $1,525 a contract. The Swissy dollar difference buy to sell level in that market, just to provide you with the reference, is $2,262.50. Dollar difference buy to sell level up here up above is $125 a contract. It's a market setting itself up for a possible rally. And what we're looking at here in Japanese yen breaking lower, the dollar difference to sell to buy level there in in that market was $1,025 a contract. And what do we look for here? Well, it's also approaching levels that buyers have entered before. So be careful if you're on the short side of how this market could perform in the next couple days. Aussie dollar weaker, but I'm looking for an inside day. British pound, this also firmed up. It traded above its buy level, and the dollar difference here in that market is $720 a contract. Is $400 a contract, excuse me. And what are we looking for here in that market? Inside day on Monday and over in the Canadian dollar. And then loonie, the $570 is the dollar difference, that buy to sell level in that market. Further movement down is really not expected. Look for an inside day in that market. Bitcoin traded above its buy level, but it also failed here as it backed off. So right here, that buy to sell level or sell to buy level in Bitcoin, to give you a feel for that. The first one here is $2,500 a contract. The next one you see here is $8,875 a contract. The buy level here failed as this market closed lower. So that closed underwater. And in the 10-year notes, we're looking for an inside day here as well. It's in a neutral zone trade. So is the 30-year bonds. It also implies a sideways move in that market. I'm not looking for a lot of volatility, but more a sideways contained environment. Gold, well, it's an environment where it should be rallying, but right now the market has calmed down a bit. That's what you're seeing here in that market. And what are we looking for here? Well, I'm not looking for a lot of dramatic moves here. The bias, though, for gold is for a move to the upside. Dollar difference buy to sell level there, $5,200 a contract. Silver, it also cooled off. Look for an inside day on Monday. Dollar difference here, this buy to sell or sell to buy level in that market is $900, $400 a contract. This buy to sell level is $900 a contract. And again, I'm looking for an inside type day. Copper wants to go higher. I'm not sure the fundamental support's there. Dollar difference buy to sell level, $750 a contract. And over in crude oil, buy to sell level in that market, $6,130 a contract. Buyers are here, but it's a neutral zone trade. Look for a sideways move there. Nat gas firming up on the weather changes we're seeing in the United States, but instead of getting stronger, it's actually gotten weaker. And we have a lot of supply right now for that market, and I think it's reflected in what you're seeing. The buy to sell level there, though, is $4,000 a contract. In soybeans, here's a market that tried to firm up. Dollar difference here, $400 a contract. We have a mixture of fundamentals coming out on this market. It's setting itself for a neutral zone trade, a sideways move. Corn approaching levels where we found buyers before. Be careful on the short side. And I feel just the opposite here for wheat. We have some fundamental support for this market, so I don't look for big follow through to the downside on Monday. Well, that was a lot of information to cover today. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I hope you found something helpful. Also, hope you have a wonderful weekend. Look forward to being with you again. And in the meantime, take care.